Hello guys, so we are back again, and in this session we are going to begin with the previous thing which we have started, which was binomial. And in this session we will take some more things of binomial, some more types of questions, and some more standard derivations. Okay, this lecture is not all about problems. Here we will study some small things which are very important and problems on them, which comes under expansion of binomial only, but they should be taught specifically. But before starting with the session, hope you have subscribed our channel Omega Pi IIT JEE INGATE, so that we can bring more engineering mathematics content and IIT JEE content for you guys. So this binomial theorem for IIT JEE GATE, IIT JEE, so let's begin. So here the first question which we are going to take is as follow. The question is this: prove that 1 plus 1 by n the whole power n is less than equal to 2, is greater than equal to 2 but less than 3 for all n belonging to natural number. Now how you will prove this? So what we can do, if we expand, if you put any number, if we put any number like 2, then what we are going to get? 1 plus 1 by 2. Okay, 3 by 2 the whole power 2, which will be some fraction, but 1 is the only number which will give us some exact value. So let's try by putting 1 for n equals to 1. What we are going to get? 1 plus 1 the whole power n, which is nothing but 2. So for 1 it is 2. Now for 2, 3, and it will go on in natural number. So what we are going to do, we are going to expand it to check it for n number. If we get the n number value, expansion value, then we can directly know what is its exact value. But for n equals to 1, its value is 2. So for 2 it will be some greater than 2 value, but it will be what we have to check that. So let's do the expansion. So if we do the expansion, 1 plus 1 by n the whole power n is nothing but nc0 plus nc1 1 power n plus nc2 1 power n the whole square plus nc3 1 power n the whole cube, and so on till nc n minus 1 1 upon n minus 1 plus ncn 1 power n by n. Now we have done the expansion. Now let's do the little bit simplification and see what we are getting. So if we do the simplification, this will be 1 and this will be this will also be 1. Let's check. Here we will have n, this will be 1 by n, so it will get cancelled out and 1 will be left, right? So we are having here 1 and here we are having 1. After this, what will happen here? N into n minus 1, and in the denominator 2 factorial will be left there, and here 1 by n square will be left there. So 1 okay, let's do it. N into n minus 1 will be left here by 2 factorial, right? And here 1 by n square will be left. Similarly, if we move on, n into n minus 1 into n minus 2 the whole upon 3 factorial into 1 by n cube. And if we move on till the end one, what we are going to left with, it will be nothing but n into n minus 1 and so on till 2 into 1 the whole upon, here it will have n factorial into 1 by n power n, right? Here 1 n will cancel out with this, and n minus n1 by n will be left, and here 1 n will cancel, here 1 by n square will be left. So what we are going to do, we are going to move this n to this n minus 1, and what it will become, n divided by n will become 1 minus 1 by n. So let's do the further simplification. 1 plus 1 by 2 factorial into 1 n will get cancelled out, and this n will move on denominator with this n minus 1 by n, then here n minus 1 into n minus 2 by n square by 3 factorial and so on. The last one will be same only, it will move on. 1 n minus 1 will okay, let me write it here. It will be n minus 1, n minus 2 and so on till 2 into 1. Here 1 by n factorial and here n power n minus 1. And after this, what we are going to do, we are going to split the n to n and n minus 1. So we are going to get 1, here it will be 2. Okay, this will add on and be 2. 2 plus 1 by 2 factorial into 1 minus 1 by n plus 1 by 3 factorial into 1 minus 1 by n into 1 minus 2 by n and so on. Further on, what we can see here, it will similar thing will happen here also. 1 by n factorial into 1 minus 1 by n. We will split n minus 1 in n till all the terms, because here n terms are there, n minus 1 terms are there. 1 minus 2 by n and 1 minus 3 by n, and this will go on till 1 minus n minus 1 by n. So what we are going to do is, you can clearly see 1 minus 1 by n, where n is a very bigger number, so it will be approximately 1 only. When it is divided by 2 factorial, which will be very small, and this will be more smaller than this one, because it is divided by 3 factorial, and this one, and after this consequently it will be becoming more smaller, more smaller, more smaller. So I can say it will be something like 2 plus some 0 point stuff. Okay, if you divide 1 by 2, 0.5, like 0.53, something like this will be there. I know that much. So what we can do is that we can predict that its value will be something. No, its value will be something like 2 plus, okay, some small integer 0.53, like that. So it will be greater than 2. Okay, this whatever number x will be there, it will be greater than 2 but less than 3, because it is 2 plus 0 point something like this, but it is less than 3. Okay, it is never reaching 3. So what I can say, a general statement is, limit n tending to infinity 1 plus 1 by n power n is nothing but, it is what many teachers tell, that it is nothing but equal to e. In what sense? As n tends to infinity, it is nothing but just approximately 2 point something like that, which you can say e. Why? Because e value, if you know, it's 2.718. So just remember this, that whenever you get 1 plus 1 by n power n, okay, this and this n should be same, then you can say its value, you can predict it is 2.18, or it is between 2 and 3. Now what I can say, that its value will be greater than, okay, greater than or equal to 2, that is for sure. So that's why it is told that 1 plus 1 by n power n, it's greater than equal to 2 but less than 3. Okay, now this is a information type thing which mostly teachers tell the student to just remember this, since this thing will come in more detail in limits. But for the timing, since this thing has appeared in binomial, so I am going to tell you, because we are going to do a question on this type only. So let's see the question. The question is as follow. The question is this question: find the positive integer just greater than what? 1 plus 0.0001, the whole upon 1 0 0 0 0. So what we can do, we know the format. It was what? Positive integer just greater than this. You cannot go on expanding this thing. Okay, it is complete, means it doesn't make any logic only. So what our perspective in this case is, will be writing it, because here what was our form? 1 plus n by n. Here they both should be same. Are they same? No. Here they have hided it like this. When you will remove, if you try to put the 10, okay, remove the points, you will get 1 by this thing again. So now you can clearly see they both are equal. So it should lie between what? It should, this thing, whatever x it should be greater than equal to 2 but lie between 3. So they are asking find the positive integer just greater than this, so it will be for sure greater than 2, so just greater than 2 point something, or you can say approximately e. So just greater than integer, okay, we cannot say that e because they want integer. So integer will be what? Closest integer to e will be what? Will be 3. So 3 is the answer. Hope you have understand this question properly. Now let's see something different thing which we are going to do now, which I think is important because it will be because the problem which we are going to do from now is going to use those type of things. So let's begin with this. The thing is as follow. What we are going to do, we are going to study something, but wait, before doing that let's do a problem on some previous concept. So the question which we are going to take is as follow. In the expansion of x power 4 minus 1 by x cube the whole upon 5, find the coefficient of x power 32, second is x power minus 17 and independent of x. Now let's do this problem. So if you expand this general expansion, if you do of x power 4 minus 1 by x cube the whole power 5, what it will be? 5c r, okay, 5cr x power 4 5 minus r into 1 minus x power 3 power r. Okay, now what we are going to do is write it like 5cr x power 20 minus 4r the whole upon, we can separate out minus 1 power r, and here we can write it x power 3r. Now we can move it up, which we can write it 5cr x power 20 minus 4r minus 3r into minus 1 power r. After this what we can clearly see is 5c into x power 20 minus 7r into minus 1 power r. Now what we want coefficient of x power 32, so this x power should be equal to 32, this x power should be equal to 32. So 20 minus 7r should be equal to what? 32. So if it is equal to 32, what we should get, what we are getting, move the 7r here, we are left with minus 12. So you can see we are getting r some fraction type value which is not possible only. So there will be no term x power 32, although it makes very logically sense also because x power 5 has very less chance of giving 32. Now moving on to the next thing, which is getting the coefficient minus 17. So equate this one with minus 17, so minus 7r equals to minus 17. If you move this here, it will be 37 equal to 7r. Again we are getting r some 37 by 7, which is giving some fraction p by q type value, which is not possible, and because r is always a integer value, so here no value such exists. Now independent of x means 20 minus 7r should become 0. If it happens, then what should be r? 7r by 20, so r will be 20 by 7, which is again a fraction, so not possible. So no term independent of x. So hope you have understand these questions, all three things which were required, which was x power 32, x power minus 17, independent of x. Now let's move on to a new concept which we are going to introduce in this session, which is, now we have studied the expansion, normal expansion. Now we are going to study something like conjugate expansion. What is conjugate expansion? Let's first understand that, then we are going to take question on that. Conjugate expansion. So this is very simple thing. It is a small topic. what happens if you take, okay, let me do it. If I take x plus y power n and do its expansion, what I'm going to get? I'm going to get something like nc0 x power n plus nc1 x power n minus 1 y will be 1 plus nc2 x power n minus 2 y power 2, and this will go on till we reach a term ncn minus 1 x y power n minus 1 plus ncn y power n, right? Similarly, if I take another expansion which is x minus y power n, conjugate means same thing, just here sign will be different. So here if I do the expansion of this at odd places, it will be minus sign, rest all will be same only. So what we are going to have, nc0 x power n minus nc1 x power n minus 1 y plus nc2 x power n minus 2 y power 2, and this will go on till this will go on so on, because here n is even or odd we don't know, so we cannot write the n terms, right? Or you can write it by writing minus 1 power n, but I don't think. Okay, just keep it as it is. Why to make the things complicated? Now our job is what will happen, what will happen if two things happens. First one, x plus y power n plus x minus y power n. If we add on, what we are going to get? Means summation of conjugate expansion. What we are going to get if we do the summation of conjugate expansion? So you know, by observing only, all the odd terms will get nullified and only the 0, 2, that is even places terms will be left. So it will become twice, like here the terms are twice, here the terms are twice. So you can say twice nc0 x power n, nc2 x power n minus 2 y power 2, and nc4 x power n minus 4 y power 4, and this will go on. Now the second scenario is that x plus y, if I subtract them, right? If we subtract them, what will happen? This all even position will become negative, while the odd position which was negative initially will become positive. So what we are going to, here we are going to left with odd terms instead of even term position term. So we are going to get something like 2 into nc1 x power n minus 1 y plus nc3 x power n minus 3 y power 3, and plus nc5 x power n minus 5 y power 5, and this will go on. Okay, so this was conjugate expansion, that is having two number which are a and b same, their expansion power is also same or different, it doesn't mean, but then a and b are same and one is positive one and the other one is negative, and when we try to find the summation, okay, their expansion summation or subtractions of their summations, it is nothing but conjugate expansion. So this concept is used that if you add them you will get even position terms, if you subtract them you will get odd position terms. Simple thing. Now let's take problems on them. Now the problem which we are going to take is as follow. The problem is this: proof that under root 10 into under root 10 plus 1 the whole power 100 minus under root 10 minus 1 the whole power 100 bracket close is an even integer. So you know a, this is your a, b, here it is, this is your a and b, they both are same, only positive and negative sign is there and they are subtracted. And you know one thing, when there is subtraction, odd position terms are left and the power is same also luckily, and they have outside under root 10. What we are going to do, we are going to keep the under root 10 as it is. We know that the summation expansion will be only even position terms, so we are going to write only the even position term. So odd position terms, which will be 100 c1 under root 10 power 100 minus 1, which is nothing but 99. Next one 100 c3, it will be under root 10, 100 minus 3, 97, and 100c5 under root 10 power 95, and this will go on till we reach the 99th term, which is 100c99 into under root 10. Now what you can see, we have to prove it is an even integer. Now what we do, if I move this under root 10 inside, what I am going to get is 100c1, this will become under root 10 100, here 100c3, this will become under root 10 98, it will 100c5, this will become under root 10 96, and this will go on till 100c99 under root 10 power 2 bracket close. Now what you can see here, it is nothing but 10 power 1 by 2, which will cancel out 100 and it will become 10 power 2. So we are going to left with 100c1 10 power 50, 100c3 10 power, this will be what, 49, and this will go on. What will be the last one? 100c99 10. So here you can clearly make out, okay, 2 will be there, because all odd terms will add on. Now you can clearly make one thing here, or here 2 will appear. Clearly make on that we are getting something, and you know that 10 will always give something like 10 only in 0, so it can be broke up into 2 only. So this whole thing, which is 2 into k, is an even integer, hence proved. Now let's move on to the next question. Hope you have understand all these steps properly. So the next question which we are going to take is this question. The question says, if 9 power 7 plus 7 power 9 is divisible by 2 power n, then find the greatest value of n where n belongs to n. You can clearly see, whenever such thing happens, try to break 9 and 7 in such a number that there is 1. The presence of 1 is very important, because whenever if there is number like 2 or 3, if you try to break them up, when you will reach at the end, their higher power will be there, so it will become difficult in calculation. So always they will give you some number which will be broke up into 1. So you have to keep that thing in your mind. So here we have to find the greatest power of 2 which can divide this number. So I will try to break them in 8. This can be expressed as 1 plus 8 power 7, and this can be expressed as, we can express this as if I try to express this 1 minus 8 power 9. Now the question should arise that why you have not wrote it like 8 minus 1. Why have you wrote it like this? So the thing is that the expansion, the thing which makes the expansion easy, if you write 8 plus 1 and do its expansion in the starting, that is 7c1, you will get 8 power 8 power 7 6. So in the starting you will get something like, and here 7c0 will be 8 power 8 power 7. So you will get here higher powers in the starting only, okay, which will make you difficult to remove the possible, and in the end you have to take the terms also, so it doesn't feel suitable only. So always try to write it in 1 plus 8 format, because in the starting if 1 8 power 1 8 power 2 like this term appears, then you can be easily classify the lowest power and remove it easily when it comes to finding the greatest value of n. So that is our intention, to write 1 plus 8. Now we know, and now why we wrote it, so that it can be written in this format. So our 8 power 1 8 power 2 like this term will appear, and it will be easy to simplify. Now let's do the expansion of both of them and see what we are getting. So if we do the expansion of the first one, it will be 7. Since the power are different, so we cannot write directly 2 into like that stuff. 7c0, it will be 8 power 7 in the starting. Then 7c1, it will be 8 power 6. and after this, okay, I have done a mistake. I have did the opposite expansion only. Now 7c0, 7c1 will be 8, 7c2 will be 8 square, and this will go on till 7c7, which will be 8 power 7. So you can clearly see how easy it was to write 8 power 1, 8 power 2, 8 power 3, and so on. Now here with negative sign, this thing is there, it will be what, 9c0, which will be what, 1 only. Now 9c1, 8 will be there, plus 9c2, 8 square will be there, and this will go on till we reach 9c8, which will be 8, and here since 8 is there, so it will be positive, minus 9c9, which will be 8 power 9, and here we can close the bracket. So what you can see is that this 7 power 0 and 9c0, 7c0, 9c0 is nothing but 1, and 1 will cancel out, and this term is 7c1 is nothing but 7 into 8, and this term 9c1 into 8 is nothing but 9 into 8, which will become plus. So these two will add on, while these two will get subtracted, which is 1. Now let's do the addition. 7 into 8 plus 9 into 8, and the rest thing which will left, 7c2, 8 square, and so on till 7c7, 8 power 7. And here similarly with minus sign outside, we are going to write it as it is, 9c2, 8 square, and so on till plus 9c8, 8, minus 9c9, 8 power 9, 8 power 9, here 8 power 8. You can clearly see this value is nothing but 128. This value is nothing but 128. After this, what we can see, that why didn't we taken these two numbers? Because 8 square and then 7c2, which will be some number, it will not be just 7 only, so it will become time consuming, okay, and calculative. So we are not doing that. Instead we know the most common possible power of 8 in both of them, it's 8 square. So let's try for 8 square, which is 64, and which appears as a 2 power, like 2 power 2 is 4, 2 power 3 is 8, 2 power 4 is 16, 2 power 5 is 32, and 2 power 6 is what, it's nothing but 64. So we can clearly see that 64 is one of the possibilities. So if I try to take 64 outside, we are going to left with 7c2, plus if we move on further, it was 7c3 after this, which will be 8 only, and this will go on, and in the 7c7 it will be 8 power 5. Similarly here 9c2, nothing will be there, plus 9c3, only 8 will be there, and this will go on till minus c9, here 8 power 7 will be there, because 8 power 2 has been taken common, which is nothing but 64. Now if you see is 64, if I divide by 64, is this divisible? Yeah, it's twice of 64, so 1s are 2s are, while this thing can be written as, this is nothing but, this is divisible by 64, so our one job is reduced. Now this can be written as 64 into some constant, this thing is some constant, plus this 128 is also divisible, so the whole thing is divisible by 64. If you take any other, we cannot take, because the lowest common possible from both of these sets is nothing but 8 square. So the possible greatest number, which is of 2 power n, is nothing but 2 power 6, which is 64. Now let's move on to the next problem. So the next problem which we are going to take is, let's take the problem. Where is the problem? The next problem which we are going to take, let's take the next question. The question is this: find the degree of the polynomial. Find the degree of the polynomial. Okay, highest. The question is need to be modified. Find the highest degree of the polynomial. So let's solve this question. The question says 1 upon under root 4x plus 1 bracket 1 plus under root 4x plus 1 by 2 the whole power 7 minus 1 minus under root 4x plus 1 by 2 the whole power 7 bracket close. Now here in the denominator 2 power 7 2 appears, and here in the denominator also 2 appears. So what our intention is, what we saw in the derivation, it was a minus b the whole power n, or a plus b, or x plus y the whole power n, minus x minus y the whole power n. So you see the top part, which is 1 plus under root 4x plus 1 and 1 minus under root 4x plus 1 minus, is creating something like x plus y the whole power n minus x minus y the whole power n. But this 2 is a problem. So what we can do, we can take 2 power 7 as outside. So we are taking 2 power 7 under root 4x plus 1. This thing I have taken outside. So we are left with 1 plus under root 4x plus 1 the whole power 7 into 1 minus under root 4x plus 1 the whole power 7 common. This part is left. Now I know in this situation only the odd terms are left. Only the odd terms are left. So let's try to get the odd terms with 2 multiplied. So if 2 is here multiplied with 2 power 7, will have 1 2 power reduced, which will be 1 upon 2 power 6. So but for the timing we will write it as it is, 4x plus 1 2 into 7c1 under root 4x plus 1 minus 7c3 7c3 under root 4x plus 1 power 3. Now 7c5 under root 4x plus 1 power 5, and this will go on till 7c7 under root 4x plus 1 power 7. Now what you can see, this under root 4x plus 1 4 plus 1, if you multiply throughout, this 4 under root 4x plus 1 7 or this power will get reduced by 1, and this 2 we can cancel out in this step. So 2 power 6, and if we move this inside, 7c1 will be left as it is, 7c3 under root 4x plus 1 the whole square plus 7c5 under root 4x plus 1 the whole power 4, and this will go on till we reach 7c7 under root 4x plus 1 power 6. Now you can clearly make out that this 1 upon 2 will get cancel this even, all the even powers. So we are left with 1 upon 2 power 6 7c1 plus 7c3. This will be 4x plus 1, and this 7c5 here this term will only appear, there will be no middle term. 4x plus 1 the whole square, and in the end 7c7 4x plus 1 power 3. So you can clearly make out that the highest degree which will appear will be here only, because here square term will appear, here x power 1 will appear, while here 4x cube plus 1 cube plus 3 4x into 1 into 4x plus 1, which is the expansion of 4x plus 1 the whole cube formula. So here you can clearly make out the highest degree. The highest degree is nothing but x cube, right? So we are done with this. Now let's take the next topic, which is nothing but we are going to see something which is I find it is more, means its problem will not be easy to solve, but it is there, which is a part or application of binomial expansion only. It is binomial expansion using complex number. We saw conjugate expansion. Now let's see binomial expansion of complex number. We know complex number are of the form a plus ib. but in polar form they are written as cis theta, which is cos theta plus I sin theta. Now if I do its expansion, I will get some pretty amazing results, which will be as follow. Let's do the expansion. So if I do the expansion, what you can see, nc0 cos theta power n plus nc1 cos theta power n minus 1 into I sin theta plus nc2 cos theta power n minus 2 into I sin theta the whole square plus nc3 cos theta power n minus 3 into I sin theta the whole cube, nc4 cos power n minus 4 theta into I sin theta power 4, and nc5 cos theta n minus 5 theta into I sin theta power 5, and this will go on till n. Since we don't know whether n is even or so we don't usually write that, because we have to write it in the format of minus 1 power n, where n will be even or odd will decide its sign. But for the timing we are getting this result. Now you should know iota is nothing but under root minus 1. We have used this information many times. Iota square will be nothing but minus 1, iota cube will be nothing but minus iota, and iota power 4 will give me 1, while iota power 6 will be you can write it as iota power 4 into iota square. Iota power 4 is what? 1, and iota square is nothing but minus 1. So in this way you can get all the iota things. Now let's simplify this. So if you simplify, what we are getting, nc0 cos n theta, this will be what? Plus I nc1 cos power n minus 1 into sin theta. This iota I have taken outside the here. Now iota square will be what? Minus 1. So nc2 cos power n minus 2 sin square theta. Here this will be again minus iota. This will be minus iota nc3 cos power n minus 3 theta into sin cube theta. Now nc4 will be what? nc4 will be 1, so we will write it straightforwardly, nc4 cos power n minus 4 theta into sin 4 theta. And here nc5, you have know that nc5, okay, nc5 will be nothing but iota only, so it will be plus iota nc5 cos power n minus 5 theta into sin theta power 5. Now you can see some parts like nc0, nc2, nc4, like these terms don't appear with iota, while nc1, nc3, nc5 terms and so on appears with iota. So you can say there is two series in this, which is one part is terms with iota and one part which are without iota. Without iota parts are nothing but real, while the terms which are attached with iota are imaginary parts. So we can separate them out. If we separate them out, we will get something like nc0 cos power n theta minus nc2 cos power n minus 2 theta into sin square theta plus nc4 into cos power n minus 4 theta into sin 4 theta minus, and so on it will go on. Now you know this is nothing but without iota, so it is real part. And here you can see when you are doing the expansion of cos theta plus I sin theta power n, you know cos theta was your what? Cos theta was your real term, so you can write. Now you know by de Moivre's theorem, you know that the power can be written in this format, cos n theta plus I sin n theta. This power can be brought here. So using this property, I can write this is equal to cos n theta. Similarly, the imaginary part should be equal to sin n theta, which is what? nc1 cos power n minus 1 theta into sin theta minus nc3 cos power n minus 3 theta into sin cube theta plus nc5 cos power n minus 5 theta into sin 5 theta, and so on. So you can see in both of them alternative negative signs are appearing. Here also one, and the second one negative, third one will be positive, and after this it will be negative. So you have to keep in one thing, that the real part will have even position term with alternative positive negative signs. Same goes, alternative positive negative signs will be there in the imaginary part too, but here the odd position terms will be there, that you have to keep. And the types of problem which you will see in this will be just based on this thing, that even position or odd position and alternative minus sign. If you are able to keep that in your mind, these things, then these type of problems you will able to hit and you can attempt to solve them. But since you have not studied the complex number, or we have not done the complex number chapter, so it might feel a little bit difficult or challenging. Now let's take the questions. The question which we are going to take is this question. The question says, if t0, t1, t2 and so on till tn represent the terms in the expansion of x plus a power n, then find the value of t0 minus t2 plus t4 minus and so on the whole square plus t1 minus t3 plus t5 minus and so on the whole square, its value. Now you can clearly make out here 0 to 4 terms are appearing. If you remember, when we were doing the complex number expansion, the real part would have alternative positive negative sign with odd even position terms, while the imaginary part will have odd position terms with alternative positive and negative sign. So here you can clearly make out that this one is imaginary part and this one is real part. So what I should do in this expansion, replace a, whatever the expansion they have given, the expansion of x plus a power n, and I know this thing can be appeared only if this is the real part and this is the imaginary part. If I take the modulus of the real and imaginary part and then square it, then I will get this solution, because you know modulus z is nothing but under root a square plus b square, because z is nothing but a plus iota b, and if you do it square, it will be give you a square plus b square, which is the thing which you can clearly see, because this is the imaginary part and this is the real part. Now what our intention is, we will replace a by ia, then check what we are getting. If we do that and do the expansion, then let's see what we are getting. So x plus iota a power n is nothing but nc0 x power n plus nc1 x power n minus 1 a iota minus nc2 x power n minus 2 a square minus I nc3 x power n minus 3 a cube, then plus nc4 x power n minus 4 a power 4 minus I nc5 x power n minus 5 a power 5, and this will go on. Now you can clearly see, if I try to separate the terms and arrange them, what I am going to get is nc0 x power n nc let's try to first arrange them in proper manner, or let's try to just first get them in proper. So nc power x power n, then nc power minus, okay, negative sign will be there, nc2 x power n minus 2 a power 2, then positive 1 nc4 x power n minus 4 a power 4, and this will go on. Now after this iota, we know here nc1 x power n minus 1 a minus nc3 x power n minus 3 a power 3 plus nc5 x power n minus 5 a power 5, and this will with minus n, and this will go on, right? Now you know this is nothing but a plus I a power n. You know x will be this part, a will be this part. If you do take the modulus of this, x will be this value and a will be this value. If you take the modulus of this x plus iota a Okay, if you take the modulus of this and then square it, as our intention was to get this, if you square it, it will become 2n because n was already in the power. Then it will become x square plus a square, right? So we will get this thing in the inside. So this was the required thing which we wanted. The whole power n will be as it is, which will be as it is. Now what we can see here clearly is that we are getting x square plus a square. We are getting x square plus a square, which was the required thing. So you can say this is nothing but equal to this value, x plus ia the whole power 2n modulus 2n, which is our required answer if you try to simplify them. Okay, so this was the required solution. You just need to understand, if you take the modulus, it will be under root a square plus b square, and the moment you take the square, this under root will disappear and you will be left with a square plus b square, which was our required target to get that t0 minus t2 plus t4 like this term square, and plus t1 minus t3 plus t5, that is odd position term square. Let's move on to the next question. The next question is this: if n equals to 12m, where m belongs to natural number, prove that nc0 minus nc2 the whole upon 2 plus under root 3 the whole square plus nc4 the whole upon 2 plus under root 3 the whole power 4 minus nc6 the whole upon 2 plus under root 3 power 6 and so on is equals to minus 1 power m2 under root 2 the whole upon 1 plus root 3 power n. What we can do is, the one thing which you have analyzed or you must have understand from the problems is that by observing the series you can clearly make out what terms expansion it is. Like here t0 and then this power 2 is coming, so I know 2 4 6 is coming, so it is my what 0 2 4 6, these are even position, it appears in real part. And here 2 plus root 3, so it will be 1 plus iota 1 upon 2 plus root 3 power n expansion, right? So I can make out, since it is odd even position, so I can make out it is real part of what? Real part of 1 plus iota power 2 plus root 3 power n. Don't you agree with this? How we analyze? Because here 2 plus root 3 the whole power n, and in the standard expansion we know that if we take 1 then its power move on like 1 plus x, if you take then its power move on x square, x power 4, x power 6 like that. It will not move from opposite n minus 1 like that. If you take x plus 1 the whole power n, then it will move like that. If you take 1 plus x power n, it will move it like this. That is the difference. Now what we can do, we can rationalize this. If you rationalize this, it will become 1 plus iota 2 minus root 3 the whole upon, it will become 1 power n, because it will be a plus b into a minus b, which will be nothing but a square minus b square, which will become 4 minus 3, which is 1. Now you should know that this value is nothing but tan pi by 2l. Although in examination they will not give you such sophisticated value, but they will give you a rather simple value, tan, okay, of sine or cos or tan, which you know very well. Now what always we try to represent in polar form, because it is more comfortable to simplify that. So we can write it as sine of cos. So if we do it sine by cos, then here cos pi by 2l plus iota sine pi by 2l will appear, the whole power n in the denominator, cos n pi by 2l will appear. Now what we can do, by de Moivre's theorem, what we can do, we can move this n here. So if we do that, I will be left with cos n pi by 2l plus I sine n pi by 2l the whole upon cos n pi by 2l. Now remember, we required real part. Okay, this is nothing but real part, this is nothing but real part. We analyze from this what will be our complex. You know this is imaginary, so cos n pi by 2l upon cos n pi by cos n power cos pi by 12 the whole power n will be your required real part. So we are having cos n pi by 12 upon cos pi by 12 the whole power n. Now in the starting they have given n is equals to 2lm, so if you replace it by 2lm you will get something. If you replace n equals to 2lm, it is n equals to 2lm, so you will be left with cos m pi the whole upon cos n by 12 the whole power n. Now what you can do is, you know cos m pi means 1 2 3 like that, 1 2 3, so depending upon m value it can come. Now you know at cos 1 like, or pi values like pi multiples 1 2 3 pi 4 pi, minus 1 and 1 can appear, so you will write it as minus 1 power m, right, and this can appear. Now this cos pi by 12 its value is nothing but you know under root 3 plus 1 by 2 root 2 is the value of this cos pi by 12. Now you can move this up, then you will get your final answer as minus 1 power m into 2 under root 2 the whole upon 1 plus root 3 the whole power n. So this is your required answer. Now let's move on to the last problem of this session. So the last problem which we are going to take is this problem. The problem is this: prove that sigma r equals to 1 to k minus 1 power r minus 1 into 3nc 2r minus 1 equals to 0, where k equals to 3n by 2 and n is an even integer. So the last problem is this. Now let's try to solve this. You know that n is an even integer, so n will be nothing but some, we can say some 2m, because even integer means it will be a multiple of 2 for sure. So we can replace this 3n by 2 as 2m by 2, which is nothing but 3m. Now in the sigma, if we replace this k by 3m, what we can see is 3m r equals to 1 into minus 3 power r minus 1, 6m into c 2r minus 1. If we do the expansion, what we are having is 6m c1 plus 6m c3 minus 3, and this will go on till 6m minus 1 minus 3, 3m minus 1. We are getting this thing in the end. Now what we are going to do after this is, if you observe, this is 6cm1 and this is 6cm3, and you know these are odd position terms, and here minus sign and alternatively minus sign are appearing. So if its power was 3, then our job would have become very simple. Now how to make its power 3, that is our target. Now let's write it in more simplified: c1 minus 3 6m c3, then here it will be something plus, and in the end 6m c 6m minus 1 minus 3 power 3m minus 1. Now you know to create its power 3, then it will become for sure imaginary part of the complex number. So if we divide and multiply by root 3, 3 is what? Under root 3 into under root 3. So it is what? Under root 3 power 2. And if I multiply and divide by under root 1 under root 3, then it will become under root 3 power 3, which is the required thing which we want, that a term which is attached with 6m c3 should have power 3, or it should have, if it is 6m by 6m c5, it should have power 5. So our job will become simplified, like here 6m c1, so its power is 1, under root 3 power 1, and here it will be under root 3 into under root 3, which will become and 1 under root when multiplied it will become under root 3 power 3, 6m c3, and this will go on. And here if you means take a little bit understanding, then you will come to know that if you multiply it by under root 3, it is you can move out the -1 part first. -1 power 3m -1 you should move out, and then you will be left with root 3, and root 3 when you make it root 3 it will have already power 2, so it will become 6m -2, and well, 1 root 3 will add on, it will become only 6m -1. So let's do it. Plus -1 power 3m -1, right? 6m, see, 6m -1. Now this 3 I can write it root 2 power 2, because root 2 into root 2 will give me 3, so it will be root 3 power 6m -2, and when 1 root 3 is multiplied it will reduce to 1. So this is the thing which we are getting finally. And after this, what we are analyzing is that here 1, 3, 5 terms are appearing, so it is nothing but our imaginary part of what complex number. If here only this term is single term is appearing, so it is nothing but 1 plus something, 1 plus iota root 3 power what power 6m, so it is nothing but a complex number of 1 plus iota root 3 power 6m. Now we have to target this imaginary part we have to target. That is our main aim. So what our intention is, what we are going to do, we are going to express it in polar format. As I have mentioned, polar format is much easier to handle or deal in complex number. So to make it in polar format, we are going to divide and multiply by 6 power m. The moment we do that, what we can see, 2 power 6m into 1 by 2 plus iota root 3 by 2 the power 6m. Now this I can write, I have to express it in cis theta, so 2 power 6m into cos, we can write it pi by 3, and this I can write as sin pi by 3. So you can see clearly we have expressed this in cis theta format. And finally, if you observe by De Moivre's theorem, we can move 6m here, which will give me finally 2 power 6m into bracket cos 6m will move, when here it will cancel out and become twice m pi, and here I sin 3m pi. You know, even position of cos is nothing but 0. So our fine, and this even position of cos, like if you take 1 it will be 2 pi or 4 pi, like that positions, or 0 it will be 0 pi, it is nothing but 1. While if you take the positions of this, if you substitute 1, these positions are what, 0. So we are getting final answer as imaginary 2 power 6m, which is the imaginary part. So this is our required answer. Hope you have understand this now. And you can see our job was to prove it an integer number, and since it is 2 power 6m, it's for sure an even integer. So we are done with this session. In this session we studied problems based on conjugate complex expansion and problems based on complex binomial expansion, and in the next session we are going to begin with the new thing, which is middle term concept. So see you in the next session. Till then, practice this problem. Okay, bye.